This episode of WDW Today is being sponsored by MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. And there's so much going on in the world of Disney these days. Walt Disney World's pumping out new attractions. Perhaps you're looking forward to Star Tours. The adventures continue opening back up on May 20th. Or perhaps Disney Dream has caught your eye. Or maybe even yet you're thinking, you know what, Disneyland, I want to go check out the new the Little Mermaid attraction that's opening back up over there before it opens in Walt Disney World. Regardless of where you want to go, what Disney destination you want to check out, the travel agents at MEI and Mouse Fan Travel can help you plan that perfect vacation. They've got experience going to all these locations, even the Disney Dream, which is brand new. They've already had agents on there for 2 or more cruises already. So go check them out right now at www.mousefantravel.com.
This is Walt Disney World Today. Give us 5 minutes and we'll give you the world.
It's Wednesday, February 9th, 2011, and this is episode 836 of WDW Today. I'm Matt Hotchberg of StudioCentral.com. Joining me on today's show is Len Testa, co-author of the Unofficial Guide to Walt Disney World, which is at touringplans.com. Welcome to the show, Len.
Hey, Matt. Speaking of the opening of Star Tours 2.0, I'm going to be down there for the opening on the 20th. What say you and I grab some dinner?
That sounds good. And based on Monday's episode, we're not going to a number of restaurants already, I can tell you.
We're not going back to the Brown Derby. Let's see if we can get into Mama Melrose's or 50s Primetime.
Consider it a date, my friend.
Awesome.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that.
That's right. What if I hold your hand?
Are you buying?
It depends how much hand holding.
Let's see how the evening
goes. How it goes.
Let's see how the evening goes.
Also joining us on today's show is Mike Silpa, a senior feature writer and blogger for allears.net. Welcome, Mike.
Remember how easy it was to learn your ABCs? Thank the Phoenicians.
Spaceship Earth.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's Wednesday, and we're answering your listener questions. I'll start with an email from Kathleen from New York. I must tell you, I'm an avid Muppet fan, which made my last rainy trip filled with showings of Muppet Vision 3D.
Nice.
After hearing about the closing and refurbishment of Muppet Vision 3D, I have to tell you that I was a bit worried. What exactly did they change? I've been back since, and I'm curious as to how the new film looks. I was especially concerned about the potential changes to the pre-show. I love it, especially in, quote, Mickey Mouse's cameo appearance. Rat schmat, they're tourists. What do they know?
What do they know?
So what do you guys think of the new Muppet Vision rehab that occurred?
I think the film is much brighter.
Oh yeah.
It's much cleaner. It's visually it's much more appealing. In terms of pre-show, I didn't notice any difference in the pre-show or in the gags or anything like that.
Nope.
And it didn't. Yeah, it's all the same. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, but it really looks good. I noticed one thing that was great about the film itself and the main attraction was that I noticed so much more detail in the film because it was so cleaned up, and it really made a huge difference. It
was much easier on the eyes, and I'm not saying that because it's a 3D film. It was just much more pleasing.
One thing
you catch more details. I've noticed a couple of things that I didn't notice before, and that speaks to the processing.
Yeah, one thing that Mike Newell and I both noticed was that at the end of the finale, there's kind of a oopsie made by Disney. You can see Sweetums in the back by the fire truck, and then he comes out there and goes, wow, what an explosion!
Yeah, they never do that.
Yeah, so he appears twice in the same place, which, could theoretically destroy the time-space continuum of the entire universe. Like,
the interesting thing is, so this is why it's important, right? So Disney, Matt, you know this, has a policy of generally not showing characters if they're also in a parade. So, for example, they'll generally pull characters from around the parks in the character greeting spots during parades so that guests can't see, for example, Snow White in Adventureland, then run over the parade and see her there again because it destroys the time-space continuum. Exactly. So to see it in Muppet Vision is one of those things that's a little bit odd.
Mind you, the destruction of the time-space continuum may be limited to just our own galaxy, but, that's a worst-case scenario, granted.
Yep.
Next email is from Heather Jones of Halifax, Massachusetts. My family and I are headed to the world in the first week of December. I'm planning to make a couple of early dinner ADRs this trip. What time do most restaurants switch over to their dinner menus from lunch? We're on the dining plan and wanted to make most of our table service credits.
I think definitely by 5, but do any of them do it at 4:30?
Yeah, it depends on some restaurants don't open until, but 5 o'clock, I think you're right. I think maybe I can think of maybe a couple that would open.
Yeah, 4:30, 5:30, somewhere in there, yeah.
Right. Also, when it comes to the wait times for Fantasmic, is the wait entirely in a line, or do they start letting people into the seating area well before the show starts? It sure would be easier to wait for an hour if we were sitting. But yeah, they do allow you, for the first show, what was that, Len?
Prone. Seated. Sitting. Prone.
They're, for the first showing of the night, they'll open it, I think, about 90 minutes to 2 hours ahead of time, so there'll be plenty of time to go sit down. For the second showing, there's a lot more standing in the line, really, because they have to let everyone out of the theater, and they have to clean it up, and they'll probably won't let you in until about 30 minutes before the show. So on the plus side, though, of that scenario is that you're not going to be waiting nearly as long for the second or third showings of the night. So it's kind of give and take. But if you're going for that first showing, you should be able to sit down for a majority of the waiting period. Next email is from Phil DeLucia of White Plains, Scopa's boy. My wife Evelyn and I took the Keys of the Kingdom tour in October 2009. This October, I'm thinking of taking the Undiscovered Future World tour in Epcot. I was wondering if any of you took the tour, and if so, what you thought of it. We really enjoyed the Keys of the Kingdom tour and are hoping this will be just as good.
Never took it.
I haven't taken it either, but it's one of those tours I hear nothing but good things about. I've never heard one negative thing about those tours. In fact, I really can't think of any tour that I would say would be negative in the actual content of the tour.
Yeah, no. No. I can't think of anything.
Right. So
Tour that's
let us know how it goes, Phil, or how it went. Next email is from Betsy from Baltimore. With some extra cash available to me after tax refund season, I'm considering making a, quote, investment in my Disney vacationing. I've noticed over the past decade or so, I've gone to the world about every other year, sometimes even every year, but never more than every other 2 or 3, but never for more than 2 or 3 days, and sometimes just for a day. I'm an avid park hopper, so that is always a necessary add-on for me, no matter how short the trip is. Now that ticket prices are skyrocketed for a 1, 2, or 3 day park hopper ticket, I'm considering buying a 10-day park hopper pass with a no expiration option. This will bring my per day cost down to about $50 as opposed to $100 or more with a 1, 2, or 3 day pass. I'm a little concerned that since I'll be using the pass for only a couple of days at a time, the pass will become extremely disheveled and or demagnetized beyond recognition as a valid ticket by the end of the 10 days, which probably could be about 3 to 5 years from now. So here's my questions. 1, would a ticket with a no expiration option still be a flimsy little paper ticket like a regular pass, or could I get it in a plastic form like a room key?
No, I think they're going to be paper.
Yep. 2, if it is a paper ticket,
unless you're staying on Disney property, in which case it'll be your room key.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
If it is paper, what do you think about laminating the ticket would do to its magnetization or ability to slide in the fast pass machines?
I don't think it would work.
Yeah, it wouldn't work. One thing you can do, I know Len, back in the day, like when we were still posting on like GradP and stuff like that, back in the good old days,
yes.
I would say people always used to recommend making photocopies of the back of the passes, because if you have like on the back there's like the serial number or whatever you want to call it,
yeah,
and Disney can look that up, even if you lose the ticket, that's how good it is. They would be able to be like, oh, here's your ticket, you've got 4 days left. So even if you accidentally, Betsy, run through the wash, which I've done 1,000 times, or you lose it or whatever, you've got that backup thing, even if you have the original ticket, as long as they have that number, they can always reissue you a new ticket with a valid ID that matches the name on the ticket.
Yeah.
So, in that case, Betsy, I think your idea is good. Len, let's talk about the core of the idea, which is, like she said, investing in a ticket. What do you think about purchasing a 10-day ticket with the idea that you would, over 3 to 5 years, you actually be saving money?
I think it's a great idea. The one thing you have to do is you just have to be able to keep up with a ticket. But assuming you can do that,
and of course you can lay out the money ahead of time.
Yeah, and you can lay out the money ahead of time. Yeah, but again, if it's an investment, yeah, I think it's a fantastic idea.
Next email is from Brett Ward. I love the TV they had in Space Mountain, but I had a question. I thought the crazy Larry guy did the voice of the cab in Who Framed Roger Rabbit. I didn't think he did Roger himself.
I don't know.
I wouldn't know. That's an IMDb question there, Brett.
Yeah.
Also, I have to say I burst out laughing when Scopa mentioned that a chain used to hold you in Space Mountain. Was that back when Blue Cross and Blue Shield sponsored the attraction? That's a joke. They never sponsored the attraction.
Nice.
Thank you, Brett. Next email is from Keith and Elgin, who writes, insert obligatory sucking up as appropriate for all the hosts. Often on the show, we hear about people's horror stories in regards to Disney's Magical Express, and I thought I would say something in its defense. We've never actually used Magical Express for its intended purposes, but on a trip in June of 2006, we did take advantage of it. When my wife and I arrived in Orlando on the day of our arrival, we found Southwest had lost one of our pieces of luggage and wouldn't be arriving until much later in the evening. Upset, but bound to have a good time, we took our happy limo to Grand Floridian. When we checked in, I asked the bell captain about arranging for a cab later in the evening so I could get back to the airport to retrieve my wife's luggage. He said, don't worry, I'll take care of it. They contacted Southwest on my behalf and arranged for Disney's Magical Express to pick up the bag and deliver it to the Grand Floridian. We got back from watching Wishes, and there was our bag in our room. Truly a Magical Express.
Nice.
I would say, Keith, the only thing about that, great story, but that was in 2006, and I believe in 2006 they were still cast members doing that job. I believe since 2006 they've outsourced it to Bags Inc., which is the company that does the Magical Express now. So I'm wondering if that level of service would still be available. But
that's a good question. I don't know.
Yeah, but that's a good story, Keith. Thank you for sharing. Next email is from Brian Lucy of Keyport, New Jersey. In preparation for my Walt Disney World trip, I downloaded and have enjoyed many of your recent podcasts. I was hoping to pick your brain on the following issue. We've been to Disney 3 times in the last 5 years. Our kids are now 7, 4, 2, and 6 months. We stay off property, Hilton Timeshare International Drive, and like to take a very casual approach to our day-to-day activities. This upcoming trip is 10 days, of which we'll probably spend 3 or 4 days in the Disney parks. What I want to know is what are some Disney property activities and locations that you would recommend for non-park days? For example, we enjoyed the carriage rides at Port Orleans and Fort Wilderness. Of course, there is Downtown Disney. I'm thinking of trying to take the kids fishing, Disney style, since it's salt listed on the activities webpage, Disney Quest, and checking out the Chip and Dale Campfire movie. But beyond that, those ideas, I'm open to any suggestions we could tack on and pack the minivan and haul the kids for a couple of hours at a time, possibly including a casual meal or a resort that's nice to just walk around. Thanks for the help.
Fantasia Gardens.
Yeah. Miniature golf is always fun. I like Winter Summerland too. Actually, I think is an easier course for kids, an easier set of courses for kids.
For kids, Len?
For kids.
For kids? Is that in quotes, or does that mean Len Testa also?
Well, yeah, isn't that implied? Isn't that?
You could take them to Downtown Disney. You could spend an hour in the Lego store.
You could do that for things that don't cost money, though. You could also do resort tours. So if you go to like the Animal Kingdom, I think we said this before. You go to the Animal Kingdom, there's a list of activities posted, daily activities posted downstairs near the entrance to Boma. It's probably out front too. I always happen to notice it while I'm waiting for a table at Boma.
Yeah.
And literally every hour there's something to do.
That's a great point. It's great for the kids especially. It's really geared towards them more than anyone.
Yeah.
Don't forget also at Animal Kingdom you can do the night vision goggles, which are free at the Jumbo House. That's about, I want to say it's like 9 or 9:30 or something like that. It's definitely after 9 o'clock.
Dark.
Yeah. You can do that. You already mentioned, the reader mentioned activities at Fort Wilderness, and they have so many more you really should check out. They do cost money, but archery, canoeing, no underwater basket weaving, sorry.
Do you really want to give your kids bows and arrows?
I'm just saying it's great experience for the impending zombie apocalypse, Len.
Oh, you need more stopping power than arrows for the coming zombie apocalypse.
Eventually you're run out of ammo. You gotta fall back on something. Just saying. Okay. You can reuse the arrows.
We're gonna go pull them out of the zombies.
I think
your zombie strategy is not your zombie strategy here is not
sound.
Oh, you mean like a crossbow type thing?
Yeah, that too.
Okay, all right, maybe.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of Walking Dead.
We're gonna have to. Ooh, if zombies attacked Walt Disney World, where would you hide? That's the upcoming show.
What's a great defensive position? Yeah, I like that,
dude. We should totally do that. No, I'm serious. We're gonna make that a show. We're gonna make that a show.
I could just see Scopa ripping that off for an all ears column. I could just see it now.
No. We're gonna do a show on that. We're gonna do a content show. You have to defend Walt Disney World from zombies. Where do you set up your? What's your defense perimeter look like?
Nice. Mike, was there any other activities that you would recommend to people out of the parks?
I think we covered them all.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough. Next email's from Milton Casiano of San Juan, Puerto Rico. Well, enjoy the podcast. Listen to it every week. I'm planning to celebrate my 17th wedding anniversary with a dinner on the California Grill restaurant. Calling Disney for my ADR, they inform me about the Sweetheart dinner package for $181.06, including tip and taxes. What do you think of this deal? Is it worth the money? Len, you seem to have an opinion on the matter.
You'd have to cut it out. Yeah, I'm not going to make you edit the show.
Okay. Thank you, Len. I haven't heard of the Sweetheart dinner package.
I haven't either. What is it? Somebody want to Google it real quick?
Yeah, let's
I've heard of that before.
Sweetheart dinner for two.
That's at Victoria and Albert's, right?
No, it's at the California Grill.
Oh.
It's experience the enchantment of a romantic dinner at one of our renowned signature restaurants. I guess it could be another one. Savor a meticulously prepared 3-course meal for two that includes an appetizer, entree, and a shared celebratory dessert. You'll also appreciate a special selected beverage and 2 commemorative etched champagne flutes, yours to take home as a keepsake.
Oh, the commemorative beverage is actually cough syrup and grain alcohol mixed together. Just drying.
The sweetheart dinner for two is available at Citrico's, Narcoossee's, California Grill, Jico, Yachtsman, Steakhouse, Flying Fish, Artist Point, and Hollywood Brown Derby. Price is $150 for all restaurants except California Grill, where it's $170.
Tax and gratuity not included, I bet.
Right. Yeah, tax and gratuity are not included in the package price. Jerks.
Jerks.
Sorry, I had to get that out of the way. Oh my god. Okay. We have not done that, obviously. So, Milton, if you want to let us know how that went, hint, hint, that would be great. Next email is from Doug, who writes, you mentioned on a previous episode that you had the citrus swirl from Aloha Isle. Is this where they are indeed serving this tasty treat now? It's one of my family's favorites, and when we were there this past December, we were quite bummed because it was off the menu at Sunshine Tree Terrace, and the cast member was clueless to what we were talking about. Yeah, it's still at Aloha Isle, which is right across the way from Sunshine Tree Terrace in the Magic Kingdom. And I love it. It's my go-to dessert at Aloha Isle because I like Dole Whips as much as the next guy. Well, maybe not as much as Scoba, but I enjoyed them. But I wasn't a huge fan because I'm not a huge pineapple fan. But the citrus swirl I really, really enjoy because it's a swirl of vanilla and orange, and it comes out tasting like creamsicle.
Creamsicle.
Next email is from Michelle from Franklin, Massachusetts. We'll be going to the World in August 19th through 26th, to be exact, right before school starts here in the Northeast. My kids are 6 and 8 and absolutely love parades. They could watch Spectrum Magic every night. Everything that I've read says the Main Street Electrical Parade is going to be running now. So what do you guys think of the Main Street Electrical Parade? Thanks, love the show, and go Bruins.
I like the parade. I've seen it twice in the last couple of months. It's I'm a little bit I don't know if jaded is the right word. I'm not as surprised about it as I thought I would be, mainly because I hear it every day on Mouse World Radio, so the music to me wasn't quite as special. But the parade floats are pretty interesting. It's fun to look at them and make snarky comments about them. I do appreciate them. I think they're very well done. The effects are great. And it's not a terribly long parade either. It's not like they drag it out like into a 30-minute thing. I like it quite a bit.
What do you think of it, Scoba?
Well, when it came back, I wasn't when I heard about Nightastic and it was coming back. I was like sort of like in the middle of the road on it. But when I saw it was like, oh wow, this is bringing back memories. When I first saw it, the floats looked a lot more fresh and up to date than I thought I would see them. The music, the music's been around for a while. I really liked it, and I think that after a year or two, I think I might want Spectral Magic back. I think it's a good idea to rotate the parades from time to time. So I like it. I hope it's around for about a year or two because there are people who haven't seen it and they're seeing it for the first time, and I think it's good to rotate the parades.
Totally agree with you, Mike. Next email is from Melinda. I'm losing my mind as I try to plan our trip for Walt Disney World May 25th through 30th. We'll be in the parks for 5 days, first time going without park hopping tickets, feeling insecurity about that choice. My boys, 6 and 5, love Star Wars, so we'll be there for Star Wars weekends. The way I have things scheduled is right now, first day Magic Kingdom, then Hollywood Studios, next day Animal Kingdom with late ADRs at Chef Mickey's, next day Epcot, next day Hollywood Studios. I have the touring plans all printed out. However, I noticed that the crowd calendar has Saturday at 8. I'm wondering if I should throw out my schedule and go to Star Wars weekends on a Friday, or change more and go to Hollywood Studios Friday and Saturday. We normally go to Walt Disney World in November during lighter crowds. I'm thinking to prepare myself for larger crowds. Any planning tips for this upcoming trip would be greatly appreciated.
Yeah, the thing that's going to make number one, Star Wars weekends last year were Star Wars weekends were actually drew more people to the studios than Gay Days did, when Gay Days were the dedicated day We're at the studios. Star Wars weekends really brings a lot more people than we had anticipated. Thing is, the weekend before that, is lower from an overall attendance level for Walt Disney World. But that's the weekend that Star Tours is opening. I don't know that you're going to get any break from crowds the weekend before at the studios either. I think getting there early and having a touring plan is your best bet.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I mean, it doesn't matter what the crowd calendar ever says. Lenny, back me up on this. That if you have a touring plan and you follow it, it won't really matter.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, your waits are going to be minimal anyway.
Right. I mean, it helps obviously if you're going to a park that is a preferred park of the day or whatever. But the touring plan trumps all. Next email is from Rick, who writes, since Captain EO is a short-term fill-in, he calls it. I don't think he mean not that, but he writes, have the Lewinsky's left the building forever? If so, what's next for this building? I don't think they're the Lewinsky's, they're the Zelinskys. Lewinsky is
presidents.
Yeah, that's a little more patriotic or less than patriotic.
That was great.
So what do you guys think? Have we seen the last of Honey, I Shrunk the Audience?
I'm never going to bet against them, recycling something like that.
Yeah, the changeover to Captain EO was so minimal. I mean, they really just repainted a couple things and slapped some Captain EO logos on the wall and called it, a day. So obviously going back to Honey, I Shrunk the Audience would be really take them another, $20 and a night to do that. So I would agree with you, Mike. It's kind of hard to, at this point, unless someone, backs in a dump truck full of money and is like, I need you to build me an awesome 3D film. When they decide Captain EO's had its run, I think my money would be on the Honey, I Shrunk the Audience returning.
See, when you ask those questions, Matt, I just keep thinking, well, Stitch's Great Escape is still around, so anything's possible.
True. Len?
I think the same thing. I think it's coming back. So.
Okay. Next email is from Jeff Krieger of Chicago, Illinois. Bailers on the WGWtoday.com site. Hoorah. I just booked my trip to the world for December, and hopefully going to be seeing you guys when I'm down there. Big thanks to Colleen and MEI and Mouse Fan Travel for the help. Anyway, I'm listening to your show for about 3.5 years now, and it's time that I've heard you talk about Make-A-Wish, and I know you've done various fundraisers for them. But in that time, I've never heard you guys talk about Give Kids the World. Our first trip to the world was about 4 years ago on a Wish trip. We stayed, like most kids do, at Give Kids the World. It's a fantastic place that has Christmas every week and ice cream for breakfast. I guess I'm writing in the hope that you'll mention this wonderful place alongside Make-A-Wish and encourage anyone who's donating to them to also consider a donation to Give Kids the World. It made my daughter's Wish trip even better, knowing we had such a wonderful place to stay. Keep up the good work, and thanks for all the fantastic Disney knowledge you share with us. P.S. Just listen to episode 719. Tell Len that Hollywood Studios is a real park and deserves its own section in the official guidebook. Yeah, Len.
Working on it this year, man.
Give Kids the World's a great thing. I know a lot of people in the Disney Inner community do a lot of work to help support that and raise money for it. It's a great place that does a lot of great work, and I think the emailer was dead on about that. Have any of you guys done any? I haven't done anything with them directly. Have any of you done any fundraising for or volunteer work with Give Kids the World?
No, I haven't. I was with some people who were there though earlier in January, and they did the whole Christmas thing. I didn't know about the ice cream for breakfast. That's great. But
yeah.
But they did dress up as as elves and Santa Claus and stuff. So it sounds great. We're gonna have to do that one time. We'll have to do a charity event there.
Absolutely. Time for our last question of the day, and that means that, usually I have Mr. Newell 3 emails to choose from. 1 gets read today. The other 2 go back to the email queue to be answered later. But since Mike's not here, Len, why don't you pick today's email?
I will.
Your options
I have to recuse myself from any question that involves me, but go ahead.
Oh, boy. All
right, here we go.
Your options are, my kid hates kids' meals.
Okay.
I'm not waking up unless we're going to the Magic Kingdom. Or read me brilliant email alert.
What was the first one?
My kid hates kids' meals.
And the second one?
I'm not waking up unless we go to the Magic Kingdom.
Ooh. I'll take the second one.
All right. Last email today is from Anne from Canada. She's from New York.
Canada. She's from upstate.
Dear Lady and the Tramps. Insert obligatory yet sincere praise for your podcast here. I'm a brand new listener, but the fact that I've listened to you for over 50 episodes in the past week should speak for itself. Whether it says you're a great show or that I have no life, I'm not sure, but either way, it's speaking. Boy, Len, if that's not a backhanded compliment, I don't know what
That's
is.
awesome.
Still doesn't trump, though. I listen to you guys when I've got nothing better to do. Remember that one? Len?
No.
You remember that Mouse Fest? Some guy came and said, I love you guys. I listen to you guys when I got nothing better to do. He really meant it like as a compliment, but
he was nervous. Yeah, that was great. Was it this last one?
No, that was like a couple of years ago.
Okay, all right.
Anyway, Anne writes, I know that arriving after opening is a mortal sin in the Church of the Efficient Touring, but Mornings and I had never gotten along. When I was 4, I once refused to go out to bed entirely until I was told we were going to the Magic Kingdom. I'm going back to the world.
They were in Kansas at the time.
I'm going back to the world the last week of August 2011. See, I already know your show well enough to spend this out at least 10 months in advance. With another night owl. Oh, I get it, okay. I'll try to persuade him and myself to consider an early start, but realistically speaking, I'll need contingency plans. You've said that you might as well not wait until 3 p.m. if you're not going to make it for park opening, but the crowd calendar's overall crowd levels for the week are only 2s and 3s. So here's my question. At what point on the per-park calendar should you avoid a park if you're not going to arrive until 10 a.m.? Thanks for the help and the great show. And yes, I did falsify my location by 30 miles because it's harder to pronounce. Thanks, Sam.
That's awesome. So here's the thing. Obviously, if you're going to get there late, don't go to the park that has the morning extra magic hours, right?
Right.
Other than that, then just use the per-park index on the crowd calendar and go to the one that has the lowest crowds. We've got touring plans on the site specifically for late arrivals that begin somewhere between 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. And you can always use those. We know that, 75% of guests don't get to the park at park opening, so we've got special plans for that. So if you use the crowd calendar, taking a look at the per park index, choose the lowest park for that day, and you use the touring plan, you'll be as good as you could possibly be.
Cool. I think it's great. You use that touring plan. And Mike, any recommendations if you're going there later in the morning?
The only park that the park that keeps popping up in my mind when you're talking mid morning is Epcot. I mean, I agree with Len about the extra magic hour mornings. The only other thing I would say would be if you know which park the night before had extra magic hour evenings, and that park does not have extra magic hour mornings, that's the park I would go to, because I would guess most of the resort guests have been taking advantage of the extra magic hour evening, so that would be a park that would be on my list too.
Very good. And Zito Devar today, don't forget this episode of WDW Today has been sponsored by MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. And hey, we're just talking about touring plans, and in fact, there were other questions about the crowd calendar. And maybe saying stuff, I would love to have a subscription to touringplans.com, but you know what? Money's tight. Got to make my Disney World trip, right? What if I told you could go to Walt Disney World like you already planned and get a free subscription to touringplans.com? That's right. Now, ordinarily, you'd have to go beat up Henry or someone to get him to give you one. But the travel agents at MEI and Master Travel can hook you up, because right now they're offering 1 year free subscription to touringplans.com and, of course, the Lines application. So if you book a qualifying trip that is valid for a trip of 5 nights or more for a trip to Walt Disney World between now and September 30th, 2011, they're going to throw in a free subscription to touringplans.com. How cool is that? You pay to go to Walt Disney World, you're not paying any extra to use MEI and Mouse Fan Travel, and free subscription to touringplans.com. Bam. It's awesome. Check them out right now at www.mousefantravel.com. If you want to find our older episodes, read our show notes, or send us your comments, you can visit us online at wdwtoday.com. For Len Testa, Mike Silva, and Mike Newell, I'm Matt Hochberg. We'll see you on the next show.